So for as long as I can remember, the single piece of advice that has followed me everywhere, and maybe you can relate, is always do your best. I can't tell you how much I hate those words. So for those that don't already know, my name is Aaron Diehl. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm treasurer of the board for the Oklahoma City Repertory Theater, and I work as a commercial real estate broker with Price Edwards. My partner Matt, we've been together about 3.5 years. We have 4 dogs, and while we've never lived together, this summer marks the first time in over 8 years that anybody has attempted to live with me, so we'll see how that goes. Matt is actually a personal trainer, finishing up his PhD in biomechanics and human performance, which basically means, yes, he is better looking and smarter than me, but I think I'm more fun. It's interesting because he and my parents have both instilled in me the idea that you should try your best. And to my parents' credit, they're actually living testament to that idea, because they're getting ready to celebrate 49 years of marriage. And what's weirder is they're still best friends. My dad is actually a retired Air Force colonel. He is a bit of a workaholic with a sick, twisted sense of humor, but he always made time for his kids. And I remember when we were stationed in Korea, he would take me on the midnight runs, and then we would go down to the flight line and watch the F-16s take off at night. My mom, on the other hand, is a professional mom. She is a bit of a hippie-dippy, fairy-loving artist, a prolific quilter with an affinity for English literature. But she's also a realist. I came out to her when I was 14, and her response to me was, I know, and, well, duh. But they really did want me to try my best, to fight the things that I believe in, and to do the right things because they were the right thing to do. It was interesting because that was a sentiment that was echoed again when I moved to New York. It was the idea of the pursuit of excellence for the sake of excellence. Now, I did move to New York and go to college for acting, but if you can picture it, at the time, I was about 150 pounds heavier than I am now. I was losing my hair at 19, so I was very insecure, and I was actually very bad at acting relative to the talent pool that was available in New York. So I pivoted and got into producing and managing, because nobody wanted to do producing or managing. And that's basically cultivating a team of artists and then finding the money and support to bring their ideas to life on stage. And I was good at it. Up until about 2009, when this thing called the housing market crash happened and caught up with me, and by the end of 2010, I couldn't raise a dime to save my life. I threw the proverbial towel, and I came back to Oklahoma City to start over. Why is it getting me now? I bounced around to a couple different jobs, a couple different ventures before I finally got into commercial real estate, to rise or fall by my own sword. That was the philosophy. The challenge with that I've realized recently is that my best has never been accomplished in a silo. It's always been part of something greater than myself, part of a team that helped me to triangulate what I was doing and what the next step was. When I signed up for Loyal, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I was hopeful that I might find my tribe of kindred spirits, my community of round pegs in a square hole that might think differently. Much to my surprise, not only did I find my tribe, I found myself amongst my tribe. You have no idea what it means to me to feel seen and heard and respected by a room full of my peers. That doesn't happen enough to all of us. Every single one here has shared their story and parts of it that I identify with. And like many of us, my journey includes, well, the story with anxiety and depression. And it's that need to succeed that is as motivating as it is dangerous. It's that imposter syndrome that riddles us with doubt and prevents us from even trying for no reason. It's the fear of failure, the fear of success. It's the fear that we have to suffer and endure all of this alone and quietly. I'm embarrassed at the number of days that I've lost to depression. I'm even more embarrassed at the number of days I've lost this year. But But the most embarrassing part of my story is my suicide. Spoiler alert, I survived. So you can breathe. You can't imagine how your world works and the amount of work you have to do to find yourself again. All right, I think everybody knows me best for the suits and the hats and the phrases and that kind of stuff, right? The suit is my armor. This helps me to do my best on the days when I'm feeling the worst. My hat, that is my quirky way to style my hair and kind of give convention a big old F you. The phrases and the idioms that I say, those are the things that I wish somebody had said to me a long time ago. 14 years of asking myself, why did I survive when so many others didn't? Why did I deserve the miracle save? I still don't know the answer to that, but the things that I've decided that mean something to me are that it's to inject a little extra kindness, a little extra silliness back into the world. To lean into things when they get weird and quirky, and to break down walls and barriers, and to try and bring a little extra visibility to those that feel invisible. The reality is this is me doing my best. But the weirdest part about it for me is that because of everybody in here, this year my best got better. I'm so grateful that you shared this year with me. And I will forever be at your side to help you out if the need ever arises. Thank you for spending this time with me. There's one last story that I have to go, and I know I'm out of time, but I'll never forgive myself if I don't share this. So when I finally got out of the hospital, my dad pulled me aside, and it was the first time I'd ever actually seen my dad cry over me. And he said to me, you know, I've always wanted you to do your best, but I think where I failed you is that I forgot to tell you that you can try your best. You can do everything right, and sometimes things still don't work out. That doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean you have to give up, and that doesn't mean you don't have as many second chances as you're willing to take. And then he reminded me about a quote that he gave me when I was 9 years old for something very trivial, but thankfully it stuck with me. It's called The Man in the Arena Speech by Theodore Roosevelt, and Jordan actually referenced it in his bio. It is not the critic that counts, but the man who points out what strong man stumbles or the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who comes up short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does strive to do the deeds, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who at his best knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at his worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place will never be with those cold and timid souls that neither know victory nor defeat. Thank you for spending this year in the arena with me, and thank you for making it the best.